everyone, and welcome to Walk Away from the Workbook. If you're new here, my name is Nicole Seymour, and I'm a kindergarten teacher in California. Today, we're going to talk about something that is a somewhat controversial topic. I am going to tell you why telling children to sound it out is the wrong approach to reading instruction. Before you turn the video off or tell me I'm wrong or crazy, I just want you to hear me out. We know there are 26 letters in the English language, but are there 26 sounds? No. Most people would agree that there are between 40 and 44 different sound variations in the English language. We are letting children believe that each letter makes a sound. That is not the case. Letters do not make sounds. Letters are representative of sounds. And the way that they are configured in words is what makes them readable. That means when you're asking your child to sound it out, maybe they don't know the 44 different sounds just yet. Consider when you hear the sound A in the words make, break, and weigh. All of these words have the A sound in them. And if we teach our children that the letter A makes the A sound sometimes, that's true, but it's not exactly what's happening. What's happening is there are certain graphemes or symbolic representations that are showing your child how to spell the sound A. And there are a lot of different ways to spell that sound. So before you go and tell your child to sound out a word, I have some things for you to consider. The number one precursor to a successful reader is their phonological awareness. Phonological awareness refers to a person's ability to recognize and manipulate the spoken sounds in words and sentences. Phonological awareness has nothing to do with letters. It has nothing to do with what your child sees in words, and it has everything to do with how they hear sounds in spoken words and sentences. Phonological awareness often gets confused with phonemic awareness. Phonemic awareness actually falls under the umbrella of phonological awareness, but whereas phonological awareness encompasses all of the different sounds that we can hear and manipulate when we are speaking, phonemic awareness is a person's ability to manipulate and recognize the specific sounds or phonemes that they hear in words. If your child does really well with phonological awareness, that means their phonemic awareness will likely be stronger. There is a long list of phonological awareness skills that your child should be practicing before they even begin to look at written words. Let me give you some tips and tricks on how you can practice phonological awareness with your child at home to see what they're ready for with their reading and how you can best support them. A good place to start to see how your child is doing is to see if they can isolate the number of words in a sentence. You can do this in so many different fun ways. You can have your child stomp every time they hear a word. You could have them clap every time they hear a word, draw a dot, or push an object forward every time they hear a word. So many different ways to count the words in a sentence. Once they're able to count the words in a sentence, see if they can break it down farther, choose a word from the sentence, and break down the sounds. If they're able to do that, then you can move on to other phonological and phonemic awareness activities that will strengthen their reading. I'm going to talk to you about a tool that will help your child listen for how many sounds are in a word, not letters, sounds. It's very important to distinguish between counting sounds and counting letters because the number of sounds often does not match the number of letters in a word. What I'm showing you now is called an Alkane sound box. It is basically a rectangle that has been split into 3 or 4 different squares. You will also need some objects for your child to use to represent the sounds in words. You can use pennies or Legos, anything small enough to fit inside the box. Once you have your sound box created and some objects for your child to push into the box for every sound they hear, you are going to show them pictures of things that make 3 or 4 sounds. In this example, I'm using a picture of a log. The first thing I would do is have my child say log. Then give them the objects to push into the Alkane sound box for every sound they hear in the word log. So you would say log, oh, ah, g. And then you would have them blend it. Log, log. There are 3 sounds in the word log. Let's try using a sound box with a word that has 4 letters but only 3 sounds. In this next example, we see a ship. When I say ship, I can break it into 3 sounds. Ship, ship. But we know that ship has 4 letters. This is where it is so important for you to remind your child that they are listening for sounds, not counting letters. Some children will want to add an extra object just because they know there's an extra letter. Try to encourage them just to listen to the sounds. I have the same issue with my kindergartners in class. So show them the ship. Have them push their object into the box every time they hear a sound. So the first sound in ship is sh. So they would push up an object. I. P. Ship. Sh. It. 3 sounds in the word ship. You would be surprised at how difficult this can be for a child who does not have really great phonemic and phonological awareness skills. If you notice that your child is struggling with this activity, I suggest practicing this a lot with many different types of words. You don't always have to have a picture of an object. You can choose things from around your house as long as they only have a few sounds for your child to work with. 2, 3, I would only go to maybe 4 sounds. Another fun phonological awareness game is being able to clap and count syllables in words. I know I remember doing this when I was a kid, and I always got excited because the teacher would use our names. I do this game with my kindergartners, and even though we have done their names over and over 100 times, they still enjoy clapping the syllables in their names. If you're not sure what syllables are how words are broken apart, usually distinguished by the vowel sounds in that word. So typically those are the places where we would break, where we hear those vowel sounds. So how can you practice syllable segmentation with your child in a fun way? You can use pictures, or you can just do it with objects around the house. Have your child say web and clap. Web. How about jellyfish? Jellyfish. Try it when you're out and about. Target. Target. Starbucks. Starbucks. Let's go back to the sound boxes. For kids that are already familiar with the Alkane sound box, you can also use it to break apart the syllables in words. Here you can see that I've created an Alkane sound box with 5 squares, and there's a picture of a bottle on the top. Instead of having my child listen for the number of sounds in the word bottle, because it has more than 1 syllable, I am going to just have them listen for the syllables. So bottle is what we're looking for. What your child would do is they would look at the bottle, and then they would push their object into the sound box for each syllable they heard. Bottle. Let's try it with a word that has more than 2 syllables. Rhinoceros. Have your child say rhinoceros. Us. These sound boxes really are amazing at helping your child develop their phonological awareness skills. And when they are ready to add the graphemes or the symbolic representations to these sounds, you can use the boxes for spelling as well. So for example, hospital, your child could write hos in the first box, os. Then pit, it, and then ul. You would have to help them with ul because you know that sound is represented by al, not just l by itself. Breaking words into syllables is a great way to help your child become a stronger reader and a better writer. If you're noticing that your child's phonological awareness skills are already pretty good, and that their phonemic awareness skills or ability to isolate and manipulate singular sounds is also pretty strong, then you could move into the symbolic representations of these phonemes. Let's start with this example. This is a bed. Have your child count how many syllables they hear in the word bed. Bed, 1 syllable. Since there's only 1 syllable, have them move on to counting the sounds. B, e, d, bed. There are 3 sounds in the word bed. Ask them to touch each of the lines for each sound they hear. B, e, d. Tap the first line and ask them, what's the first sound? B. How do we spell b? With a B. Go to the next sound. What's the next sound? B. Eh. That sound is represented by the letter E. Now, most people would go straight to the 3rd sound. I'm going to tell you not to do that. What you need to do before you go to that 3rd sound is have them blend those first 2 sounds together. First, we know that b is a very short sound. They can't make it for very long. We call that a stop sound. So they're gonna have to jump over to that eh very, very quickly. You're gonna have them go bah and make that vowel sound for a long time. Then add the last sound. Bed, bed. And that is how they spell the word bed. Now, what if your child is not trying to spell the word bed, they are trying to read the word bed? You can do a very similar process. You're gonna need a little card to cover the word. Show them the word bed and cover up all but the first letter, so they only see the B. Ask them, what's the sound? B. Pull the card across and reveal the second sound. Eh. Make your child make that sound. Eh. Have your child put those two sounds together and make sure they're able to blend those two sounds very quickly. Bah. Have them hold the vowel sound. It really makes it easier to blend if they hold that middle sound for as long as they can. And then add the last sound, D. Bed. Then ask them, what word did you read? Bed. I used to be a teacher that isolated all three sounds in a word, b, e, d, and I would go, okay, what word did I say? And kids would just look at me and they would not be able to tell me what word I said. It's really important to teach kids how to blend the first sounds together and hold the vowel before they say the final sound. I promise you, if you have been teaching it or helping your child in any other way, if you teach them this way, it will make a world of difference and they will all of a sudden be able to blend words together a lot more smoothly. I have so much more I want to share. I am mostly focused on kindergarten age kids in this video. My sister definitely had some questions that were more geared towards first graders, so I'm going to work on that for next week. Make sure you tune in if you're interested and want to know more about phonological awareness and how to help your child become a better reader. Remember, before you tell your child just to sound it out, consider what they already know and what areas they may need to strengthen before they're actually able to do that. As always, if you liked this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who you think might find it useful. I'll catch you guys all soon. Bye.